Tripo lubdha rajanaha prayashaha bhuvi rajana prayasho bhuvi mataram pitaram bratrin sarvamscha suhridastatha gृणन्ति हि असुत्रिपो लुब्धा राजाना प्रायशो भुवि. Mataram onto the mother, Pitaram onto the father, Bratrin onto brothers, Sarvancha and anyone else, Suhrudaha friends, Tatha as well as Gnananti they kill as it is practically seen. He indeed Asutripaha those who envy the lives of others for their personal sense gratification. Lubdaha, greedy. Rajanaha, such kings. Prayashaha, almost always. Bhuvi, on the earth. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaicharana Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Kings greedy for sense gratification on this earth almost always kill their enemies indiscriminately. To satisfy their own whims, they may kill anyone, even their mothers, fathers, brothers, or friends. Can you repeat the translation? Kings greedy for sense gratification on this earth almost always kill their enemies indiscriminately. To satisfy their own whims, they may kill anyone, even their mothers, fathers, brothers, or friends. Purport. We have seen in the history of India that Aurangzeb killed his brothers and nephews and imprisoned his father to fulfill political ambitions. There have been many similar instances, and Kamsa was the same type of king. Kamsa did not hesitate to kill his nephews and imprison his sister and his father. For demons to do such things is not astonishing. Nonetheless, although Kamsa was a demon, he was aware that Lord Vishnu cannot be killed, and thus he attained salvation. Even partial understanding of the activities of Lord Vishnu makes one eligible for salvation. Kamsa knew a little about Krishna, that he could not be killed, and therefore he attained salvation, although he thought of Vishnu, Krishna, as an enemy. What then is to be said of one who knows Krishna perfectly from the descriptions of Shastras like Bhagavad Gita? It is therefore the duty of everyone to read Bhagavad Gita and understand Krishna perfectly. This will make one's life successful. Thus ends the Bhakti purport and translation to Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 67 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shukadev Goswami is revealing the nature of a demoniac person like Kamsa in this verse. Lubdha Rajanaha Bhuvi. Greedy kings. Lubdha means greed. Rajana means kings of the nature of greed. So Lubdha Rajanaha, kings who are greedy for uh, sense gratification. Bhuvi, on this earth. Prayashaha, almost always. Gnantihi, they kill their enemies. Asutripaha. Gnantihi asutripaha. Almost in all cases, they kill their enemies indiscriminately. Why indiscriminately? So the first two lines explain. Uh, to satisfy their desires, they don't mind killing anyone. And who is the enemy? It could even be Mataram, their own mother. It could be Pitaram, their own father. Bratrin, it could be their own brother. Sarvams, it could be anyone. Suhradaha, including one's close friend, dear friend, not Mitra. The word is used Suhrut. Suhrut means very, very dear friend, very close friend, very dear friend, not just Mitra. Mitra, Bandhu, Suhrut. There are three kinds of friendship which one can have. And all are considered friends, but they're of deeper relationship. Mitra is just a ordinary friend. Bandhu is little closer friend. Suhrit is a very intimate friend whom you can rely even in great dangers. He will give his life also for you. He will sacrifice his own comforts for the sake of his friend. He is called a Suhrit. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna also uses this term. Krishna says, I am the Suhrut for every jiva. Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. I am the well-wishing friend of every living being, Krishna is saying. So, people who are of demoniac nature, they don't mind killing even Suhrut of that quality and category of friend also, they'll not mind. They'll not hesitate killing. So, greedy kings, just to satisfy their desire for sense gratification, meaning just to satisfy their own plans, their own ways of enjoyment. Almost in all cases, if not 100%, almost in all cases, prayashaha. Prayasha means almost in all cases. They will go to the point of killing only. Mothers, fathers, brothers, Friends, anyone who come in their way, very dangerous. And Prabhupada in the purport begins by quoting one bygone king, Aurangzeb. Hmm, He killed his own brothers and his own nephew, and he imprisoned his father, Shah Jahan, put him in jail, and took over the control and kingdom and ruling, putting his father in prison to fulfill his political ambitions. Today also we can see same thing applies. Although we may not go into politics, there are many similar such politicians. Sometimes not only politicians, we see even individuals for the sake of property, for the sake of power, they don't mind killing their own family members, forget neighbors, forget uh, outsiders. Even family members also they're killing. Even up to date, it is happening. So Kamsa was the same type of king, Prabhupada is saying in the purport. No hesitation, indiscriminate killing, no hesitation. But we can see in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, Arjuna had so many considerations for fighting his opponents who happened to be his relatives. So many considerations. Almost half of the first chapter talks about Arjuna's reasoning, Arjuna's considerations, Arjuna's concern, why he does not want to fight this battle of Kurukshetra. Just for the sake of gaining back their legitimate kingdom, legitimate ruling. Pandavas were the legitimate rulers, but somehow Duryodhana has captured the power, Dhritarashtra has captured the power, and they wanted to legitimately ask for their rights, but they were denied. Even Lord Krishna had attempted on behalf of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Lord Krishna went as a messenger from Yudhishthira. Krishna subordinated himself. Actually, he is a supreme lord. He is a supreme ruler of all the planets. That is also described in the Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter. He is the supreme ruler of all the planets. Supreme proprietor of all the planets. Yet, you can imagine how much regard and appreciation he had for Yudhishthira Maharaj and his principle of righteousness, and especially because Yudhishthira was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. Krishna obliged Yudhishthira Maharaj to go and present the views of Yudhishthira to the Kauravas and seek the kingdom back for the Pandavas. Or if not, they had planned many other possibilities, negotiations. First of all, ask the entire world. But if they don't agree, then at least one kingdom for each, one village for each Pandava. 5 brothers they were, at least one village. So Duryodhan finally said, I will not give land where you can pierce even a needle. Therefore, war became inevitable. Krishna said, okay, fine. So he went and reported to you. Lord Krishna went and reports back to Yudhishthira. See how the Lord is so much affectionate to his devotees. So much affectionate to his devotees. He does not mind taking any subordinate position for his devotee and executing any kind of task unhesitatingly for the sake of his devotee. The devotees also unhesitatingly do any kind of seva for Krishna. Therefore, Krishna also does not hesitate to do any kind of seva for his devotee. So therefore the war became inevitable. Still, after the war was declared, okay, the Pandavas somehow digested this fact. But actually, if you see in Bhagavatam, uh, the earlier canto, if you see, there's an entire chapter dedicated to Yudhishthir Maharaj in Bhagavatam, wherein Yudhishthir Maharaj is lamenting that the entire battle of Kurukshetra happened only for me to be reinstated as the emperor of this world, and because of which I had to see so many loss of lives. So painful. All these men were killed in the battlefield only for me to be reinstated as the emperor of the world. This is so sad and so bad. For me to become emperor, so many people had to lay their lives. Actually, it was the Lord's plan to wipe out all the unwanted population, demonic population from the surface of the earth. But so Yudhishthira Maharaj actually is only assisting the Lord in his master plan of making this earth and this world at large peaceful for the devotees to practice Krishna consciousness. And if anybody is disturbing that peace, it is the Lord's responsibility to root out all that bad elements who are disturbance for the cause of dharma, for the cause of peace of the peaceful citizens. The Lord being the Supreme Father, the responsibility falls upon him to see that there is peace. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was only assisting the Lord's plan. Yet, going a step ahead, a step further, still Yudhishthira Maharaj thought, no. Whatever it may be, whatever the Lord's plan, that is okay. The Lord only wanted the war, that is okay. But I am the emperor, and for me to become the emperor, all these people died. So I have become greatly sinful. And he laments. And Shukadeva Goswami, Sutta Goswami describe how much he laments. Lord Krishna personally convinces him, don't worry. It is my plan. And also karma dictates everyone's life. So many things Krishna preached to him. Still, even Lord Krishna preaching Yudhishthira Maharaj was not convinced. No, I am greatly sinful. See their thinking. Finally, Bhishmadev had to advise him, preach to him. And after that, Yudhishthira Maharaj gets convinced. There is another glory. It's not that Krishna preaches and therefore Yudhishthira didn't listen or something. But there is another reason Acharyas describe, because Krishna wanted to glorify Bhishmadeva, another devotee of the Lord, great devotee of Krishna. So after Bhishma explains reasons and all these things, then finally he gets convinced and becomes solaced. So here also we see, so Arjuna in the first chapter, he is saying many reasons. Some 1 or 2 reasons we'll try to understand today. When he had to fight the battle, just like Yudhishthira Maharaj, so Arjuna could not accept the fact that he had to fight with his own relatives and cousin brothers and uncles and very close relatives and his guru and gurus, because there were many on the position of gurus other than his own guru, like Dronacharya was his own guru, but Kripacharya, all such personalities were on the position of his gurus, very, very senior. Bhishmadeva, very, very senior. So he was very reluctant. Again for the same reason, just for gaining emperorship. He didn't want it. So Arjuna said, Yadyapetena pashyanti lobha upahata chetasaha kulakshaya kritam dosham mitra drohe cha patakam. See, lobha, the same word is used here. Lubdha, lobha both mean the same, means greed. So Arjuna is saying, oh Janardana, although He's saying, Yadyap ete na pashyanti loba upahata chetasaha. Although these men, their hearts are overtaken by greed. Loba upachetasaha. Chetasa, their consciousness, lobaha, is overcome by greed, and therefore, na pashyanti, they don't see the fault, dosham, kritam dosham, krita means act, kritam dosham, they don't see the fault of kulakshaya, killing their own men, family members, or quarreling. They don't see any fault. Katam nagneyam asmabihi papadasman nivartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyadbir janardana. Krishna is saying, but Arjuna is saying, so they're not seeing any fault in killing their own kinsmen. But why should we do that, make that same fault, do that same fault, Krishna? We can see the crime in destroying a family and engaging in these acts of sin. Papat asman nivartitum. We can see the sin in killing one's own relatives, one's own friends, one's own family members, one's own guru. But these Kauravas, the Duryodhan, he's not able to see. Okay, he's not able to see, he's going ahead. But we can see. Then why are we engaging in these acts of sin? Then Arjuna went on to say, Aho bata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yad rajasuka lobena hantum swajanam udyataha. Again, Arjuna used the word lobhena in these words. Aho bata mahat papam, oh Krishna, we have decided to go ahead with engaging in this ghastly sinful activity of killing our own relatives. Mahat papam. How strange, oh Krishna, how strange it is. Even we are doing the same thing like Duryodhan. Even we are engaging in such sinful acts. How strange. Arjuna is surprised. Alas. Aho means alas. Alas is generally that expression is used when all hopes are finished and all good sense is lost. Use the word alas. Just like we say, oh my God, we say like that, alas. How strange it is, we are preparing to commit these greatly sinful acts. Why? Rajya sukha lobhena, being driven, being driven by the desire to enjoy Rajya sukha, royal happiness, and greed, lobhena. Hantum swajanamudita, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. What is this, Krishna? In that purport, Prabhupada quotes, says the same thing, what is quoted by Shukadeva Goswami in this verse. Mataram pitaram bratrin sarvamscha surdastata nanti. Lubda rajanaha. The same thing Prabhupada quotes in the purport in the first line there. Driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world. Same thing is referred there also. So, demoniac persons may not consider good, bad, the consequences, and all these things. But a saintly person is always expected to think about all these considerations. A duty can be obligatory only if the effect is good. If the effect is not good, then a duty is not obligatory. You can skip or quit such duties. So Arjuna was also thinking from that angle. The first chapter it is mentioned actually. It's a very interesting point actually. obligation is actually binding when the effect is good. But when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound by obligations. See, so many considerations Arjuna was having. A Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse any battle or any challenge, including gambling. He is not, when he is offered, then he cannot neglect. Now, we are devotees, we are not Kshatriyas. Therefore, if somebody calls us for gamble, we can easily reject, saying that it's four regulative principle we follow. But if you're a Kshatriya, you cannot avoid, even if you're a devotee. So Yudhishthira was a devotee, but from the consideration of a Kshatriya, he was called for, pulled into a gambling match. It was a conspiracy, actually. It was not a simple gamble. It was a conspiracy, actually. It was a plot against Yudhishthira. Because many people have this doubt. How can Yudhishthira Maharaj, being a devotee, accept the gamble called upon by Duryodhana? Because Kshatriyas are bound to accept challenges. They cannot avoid. Similarly, Kshatriyas are bound to accept fighting. They cannot avoid. When one devotee says, hey, Haribol, come, let's fight. No, Prabhu. You're supposed to follow Trinada Pisuni Chena Taroriva Sarishtuno. No fighting. Then you are defeated. I surrender. No problem. Yes, I am defeated. But a Kshatriya cannot tell that. He has to give a fight. That is Kshatriya Dharma. So same thing here also. Yudhishthira could not avoid the fight. Arjuna could not avoid the fight, actually speaking. Although they're speaking on good, with good sense, that is fine as far as a devotee is concerned or a Brahmana is concerned, but not a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya should curb the bad elements. They must accept fight to curb the bad elements, not unnecessarily fight. So this battle of Kurukshetra was not an unnecessary fight. It was a necessary fight. Sometimes there is a saying in English like this: violence is a necessary evil. So it is necessary sometimes to curb the bad elements, because some people has to be dealt only with weapon or with a stick. Just like it is said, an animal is to be dealt with a stick only to bring it under control. Otherwise, it is difficult. Similarly, animalistic like people have to be dealt with stick only. Good words don't settle in their consciousness. What can be done? Preaching does not work many a times. Only weapons work, which is a fact. Sometimes you give good advice out of good heart, still that is taken negatively. Therefore, Shastra say, Murkhanam hi upadesham prakopaya na kalpate. If you advise a murkha or an ignorant fool, if you give good advice, his anger only increases. This is a statement by Chanakya Pandit. A foolish, ignorant person, if you give good advice, he will only become more angry. Instead of thank you for this good advice, you have shown my path, he will not think like that. He will become angry only. So like that, these Kauravas and people like Kamsa, you cannot speak any good to them for their good. They'll not take it in the right spirit. Their anger only increases. But anyway, Arjuna is considering all these things. So Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse battle or refuse gambling when it's invited by the rival party. So under such obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he was challenged by the party of Duryodhana. So in this connection, Prabhupada says, Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the effects of such a challenge. However, Arjuna could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. So that's how Prabhupada says, obligation is actually binding when the effect is good. But obligation is not binding when the effect is not good. So considering all these pros and cons and all these things, Arjuna didn't want to fight. So like that, the point here is how he's considering, at least giving a consideration. But demonic persons, no considerations, no analysis, no thoughts. That's why the word is used indiscriminately. No discrimination. And also one more word is used to satisfy their own whims. Crazy idea, something will come in the head, and I have to do it. That's all. I have to fulfill it. That's all. Any crazy idea which comes, I have to fulfill it. Is the way demonic persons work. They don't consult dharma or saintly persons. They don't consult. Okay? And you cannot advise them. Huh? It's very difficult to advise them. So, there's one more example in Bhagavatam. This was from Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's example. You can see how Arjuna, such a saintly person, exactly opposite to Kamsa. One more, many instances, right? We are just taking few of them. When Pandava's 5 sleeping sons were mercilessly killed by Ashwathama, because actually the battle was practically over. This was the context when the battle of Kurukshetra was practically over. The last person to be defeated was Duryodhana. Before that, rest of the other leaders, Maharathis of the Kauravas army, were killed. Of course, many Maharathis on the side of Pandavas also lost their life. Practically all the leaders except the 5 Pandavas were all dead. So last was the fight between Bhima and Duryodhana, and the fight was going very serious, but there was no conclusion. There was no conclusion because Bhima is physically very strong, too difficult to handle his strength, and Duryodhana is highly skilled, very difficult to overpower his skill. So Duryodhana is very skilled in wrestling, and Bhima is very powerful physically. So there was no conclusion. Very tough fight, morning to evening. Of course, night they would share snacks with each other. Because war is war. Just morning, 10 o'clock duty starts up to 6 o'clock. After that, they'll go for chai. Of course, they were not drinking chai because Pandavas were following regulative principles. Yes. Bhagavatam says that. They would not even eat meat. Kshatriyas generally do eat meat, but Pandavas, they were Vaishnava Kshatriyas. They would not eat meat. There was some kind of prejudice that even Pandavas ate meat. Yudhishthira ate meat. No. Bhagavatam says no. Pandavas didn't eat. Okay. So like that. So evening they would go to the opposite camp and they would also eat and accept their invitation and all like that. But morning they would fight tooth and nail. So there was no decision. Finally, of course, Lord Krishna advised you hit him below the waist, which is against the regulative principle of wrestling. But he had to do that. There was no other possibility. Because Kauravas n number of times broke the law of war, law of justice many times in the war field. So Krishna said, so for the sake of upholding dharma, anyway, I am the person who have made all these rules for dharma. Now you go the regular path, it's not going to work. You better, on my order, not otherwise. On my order, you can break the law of wrestling and then you hit him below the waist. And that's how it is described in Bhagavatam. Uru Bhagna. Bhagna means broken. Uru means thigh. Duryodhana's thigh was broken and he was lying on the battlefield, but he didn't die. He didn't die. At that time, Ashwathama thought, he thought, I should kill the Pandavas now. The 5 Pandavas, remaining Pandavas. Duryodhana will be very happy. But then finally what he did, he thought of killing the 5 Pandavas, but then he didn't have capability to kill the Pandavas. Therefore, um, his sons were sleeping. Pandava's sons were sleeping. And when they were sleeping, Ashwatthama cut off their heads and brought them to Duryodhan and told Duryodhan, Duryodhan, I have a great news for you. Not good news, great news for you. And what is that? Duryodhan asked. Lying on the battlefield with his thighs broken, extremely painful condition, Duryodhan said, really, you have good news for me? Great news. What is that news? He said, I have killed the Pandavas, the 5 Pandavas. See their heads. And then he presented the 5 heads to Duryodhan. But Duryodhan knew how to test that it was Pandavas or not. He had a test with him. He pressed the heads of these Pandavas. And when he pressed, he could sense they were not the Pandavas heads, they were the sons of Pandavas. Then he told him, is it Pandavas or the sons of the Pandavas? Ashwatthama, please tell me the truth. So Ashwatthama admitted, apologized. Oh, Duryodhana, actually it is the sons of Pandavas, not Pandavas. Then Duryodhana was very, very upset because he thought I can satisfy my master in this way, but he was very, very upset because the last hope of the Kuru Vamsha also you have finished off. So I'm very unhappy. And because of which he died, Duryodhana, actually. Because of this pain, he died. This is what Bhagavatam says. Anyway, so at that time, when Pandavas got the news that their 5 sons were killed, Arjuna, how did he react? He thought, okay, it is very, very lamentable, but what to do? After all, Ashwatthama was a Brahmana and son of a Brahmana and son of our Guru also. So I cannot kill him in retaliation for this heinous act he has done. I cannot kill him. So Yudhishthira also supported, Draupadi also supported, Nakula Sahadev also supported, but only Bhima flared up. No, impossible. We must kill him. Lord Krishna supported Bhima. Yes, Bhima is perfect. You must kill Arjun. How can you neglect? He has killed, he has butchered your sleeping sons in such a covered way. But Arjuna said, no, Krishna, I will not kill. So Shukadeva Goswami says, actually, Krishna tested Arjuna. The first canto, 7th chapter, text 40. Finally, it was reconciled. Krishna personally tested his devotee. Is he going to kill or not? Out of retaliation, out of anger, out of vengeance. But Arjuna passed the test. And Prabhupada says in the purport, all pure devotees passed the test successfully and very easily. Even though they are put into very difficult situations, they will always pass the test of Krishna. Of course, for pure devotees, Krishna gives the test. In our case, Krishna does not have to, because his papers will be very tough, like PhD papers. Ours will be LKG papers. That also we are struggling to pass. For us, only Maya gives the papers. Krishna does not test us because there is all high-level tests. We'll get bewildered if Krishna tests us. So we are yet to come to that level of testing and all. Small things only see we can't sacrifice. We can't uphold the principles of bhakti. Sometimes we fall back. So anyway, we are under the sadhana path. Doesn't matter. We should gain strength and practice once again. Anyway, coming back to this point. So finally, but Krishna also put him into another severe test by saying, actually, Arjuna, because Ashwatthama killed the sleeping sons, your sleeping sons, the sleeping sons of Pandavas, so therefore, he deserves to be killed, actually. And he has brought disrepute to his father also, Dronacharya, actually. Very bad. But at the same time, there is no injunction in the Shastra for killing a Brahmana. So you should kill also, not kill also. And Krishna left it there. And Prabhupada says, even more confusing. So Krishna actually gave indication what to do. Where is the indication here? Krishna already gave a clue Arjuna what to do. Where is the clue here? But Arjuna taking that clue from Krishna. So Arjuna also is thinking, yes, yes, thank you, Krishna, for giving me the clue. Where is the clue? You should kill also, you should not kill also. How can you do both? So finally, therefore, it is described Arjuna cut off the jewel on Ashwatthama's head and cut off his hair and drove him out of the camp. So then it is reconciled. Shukadev Goswami says, Sutta Goswami says that the fitting punishment for the Brahmana, because Brahmana's body cannot be killed. It is greatly sinful. That's what Shastra is saying. But at the same time, he has become sinful by killing sons of the Pandavas. So what appropriate action as a Kshatriya he should take? Actually, Brahmana should take action on Kshatriya. Here is a situation where Ashwatthama made the situation so complex, the Kshatriya has to take action on Brahmana. He has complicated the situation. No, Pandavas, Kshatriyas, in the Leela, although Pandavas are superior, but still as a Kshatriya, considering them as only as Kshatriya, not as Vaishnava, so they have to take action on Ashwatthama. Very complex. So what to do? So we have to take action. Shastra say three things. The right punishment for a degraded Brahmana who does not follow the principles of Brahminical life. The punishment is you have to cut off the jewel on his head, or cut off his hair, or drive him away from home, from the camp, like that. So Arjuna perfectly did that. So he was successful. Anyway, so the point here is what we are trying to understand is how they were so sensitive to consider. But here we see brother, sister, mother, does not matter, anybody, kill them. So many examples Prabhupada says in the history. Hiranyakashipu, just because his son didn't agree his supremacy, he declared. Just then one fine morning, like this Friday morning, Friday is supposed to be a very auspicious day. At least Friday, people don't eat meat because Friday is considered very auspicious. Some sentiment they have, Friday we should not eat meat, like that. So something like that. So Friday is considered very auspicious day. Today is Friday. So one fine day, Hiranyakashipu called his son Prahlad and with great affection, fondling him, caressing him, he said, my dear Prahlad, what did you learn in the Gurukula? Immediately he said, Matimna Krishna Parato Swatova Mitomi Padyate Graha Vratanam Adhantu Gobir Vishitam Tamisram Puna Puna Charvita Charvananam Asura Varya Dehinam Sada Samudvignadiyam Asad Grihat. When Hiranyakashipu addressed his son as, oh my dear son, Prahlad, fine morning, with great hopes, he's asking his son, what did you learn? Prahlad said, he addressed him not in a similar affectionate manner. He said, oh, best of the Asura fathers, best of the demons, let me tell you, people who have accepted sense gratification as their goal of life, they can never have peace in life. Immediately, you are a rascal number one. Just now he said, oh my dear Prahlad. Immediate next sentence, oh rascal number one. Then few days again, some more training went. What is the training? To make him a demon, actually, Prahlad. Again, the Shanda Namarka bring them back. And again, Hiranyakashipu with great hope again asks for, so what did you learn, Prahlad? With great hope. Again he said, Matir na Krishna, you don't have Krishna Mati anyway. So there is no hope in you. You will never change, my dear father. He's telling his father, you will never change. You are a demon number one, you will never change. You are blind. Anyway, he went on like that. Then at that time, Hiranyakashipu said, calling all his leaders, his ministers, kill him. He actually physically threw Prahlad away, pushed him off from his lap. And he said, Prahlad, how have a thorn like you, thorn like you have taken birth in the family of roses like me? How has a thorn like you taken birth? I'm very surprised, Prahlad. How can you do this to me? And what was Prahlad's mistake? He said, Krishna is the supreme Lord. Vishnu is the supreme Lord, not you. That is the anger of Hiranyakashipu. He said, kill him. By all means, very dangerous. What danger? He said, Vishnu is the supreme. Very dangerous fellow. He has become poisonous. He has become poisonous. Kill him, kill him. See? They don't mind killing their own son. So many instances. Hiranyakashipu, his grandsons also he didn't spare. And they're the 6 sons of Devaki. Them also, he cursed. You grandsons will be killed by your own father, Kamsa, who was Kalanemi that time, who was Hiranyaksha's son. That also same thing. Because these grandsons, it's a big story. I don't have time. They didn't take shelter of Hiranyakashipu and take his help. They want to become immortal, these 6 sons of Kalanemi. They went to Devatas for shelter. When Hiranyakashipu got to know, he became very angry. Said, you rascals, you went to the opposite camp and taking shelter. So I curse you, your own father will kill all of you. And that's how they took birth as the first 6 sons of Devaki. And Kamsa, Kalanemi, taking birth as Kamsa, killed them. See, the classic examples in Shastra. So this is how demonic persons are. So we cannot rely on their character. I'll stop here. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.